First contact gone wrong. Ambassador Elena Martinez stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council's orbital station, her heart racing as she watched Earth's first diplomatic delegation prepare to board. After decades of SETI broadcasts and technological advancement, humanity had finally achieved first contact. The station's massive crystalline windows offered a breathtaking view of Earth below, its blue marble appearance a comfort amidst the alien architecture surrounding her. Ambassador Martinez, a melodious voice chimed from behind. The Regulatory Commission awaits. Elena turned to face Council Lays and Val-Enx, a being composed of shifting iridescent gas contained within an intricate metallic framework. She had spent months studying xenobiology files, but nothing quite prepared her for direct interaction with the various species that made up the Galactic Council. The delegation made its way through the station's winding corridors, passing beings of all descriptions, some crystalline, others plasma-based, and even a few that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The station's environment was carefully regulated, with different atmospheric chambers accommodating the diverse biological needs of its occupants. The first sign that something was wrong came during the routine biological scanning procedure. The medical officer, a silicon-based entity named ZX-427, recoiled from their instruments with alarm. These readings, they cannot be correct. ZX-427's crystalline form pulsed with agitation. Your bodies are composed of... Impossible. Elena frowned. Is there a problem with our medical clearance? Your species is saturated with free-floating molecular hydroxide chains, ZX-427 announced, their translation matrix struggling to maintain composure. Every cell in your body contains what we classify as universal solvent class A. Water. Elena laughed, then quickly suppressed it when she saw the genuine horror emanating from the medical officer's form. Yes, humans are largely water-based organisms. Is that an issue? The chamber erupted into chaos. Emergency containment fields sprang to life around the human delegation. Alarm signals pulsed through the station's neural network, and various species began evacuating the immediate area. Council Emergency Protocol 7 Alpha initiated, announced the station's eye. Containment breach of Class A universal solvent detected. All non-compatible species please proceed to designated safety zones. Please remain calm. Val-Enx's voice wavered slightly, their gaseous form contracting defensively within their framework. A containment team is en route. Try not to leak. Elena watched in disbelief as hazmat-suited beings rushed into the chamber, carrying equipment she recognized from the briefing files as extreme chemical containment gear. This is a misunderstanding, she tried to explain. Water is essential to life on Earth. We're not carrying weapons. Essential. A new voice joined the conversation. Arch-Counselor Rembox, their quantum probability field flickering with concern. You mean to tell us your species evolved to incorporate the universe's most potent natural solvent as a basic biological component? Yes. Elena seized on this moment of understanding. All life on Earth evolved using water as a basic building block. It's not dangerous to us. We drink it. We swim in it. Her words were cut short by several gasps and the sound of emergency shields engaging. A crystalline being in the corner began to vibrate in distress. They willing ingest it. The being's translators struggled to convey their horror and submerged themselves in it voluntarily. Arch-Counselor Rembox's probability field stabilized into a focused pattern. Ambassador Martinez, while we appreciate Earth's desire to join the galactic community, you must understand our concern. Your biology represents an unprecedented threat to many Council species. A single drop of your water could dissolve the molecular bonds of several member races. Elena felt her diplomatic training kicking in, searching for a way to salvage the situation. But surely our biological differences could be overcome with proper safety protocols. Humanity has much to offer the galaxy. Perhaps, Remvox conceded, their field patterns suggesting deep thought. But for now, You and your delegation will need to remain in containment until the full council can convene to discuss this matter. The presence of a species that has weaponized the universe's most dangerous substance within their own biology. This requires careful consideration. As Elena and her team were escorted to a specially prepared quarantine chamber, she couldn't help but appreciate the cosmic irony. Humanity had spent centuries wondering if first contact would be derailed by cultural differences, technological gaps, or resource conflicts. Instead, it was the simple molecule that made Earth's oceans blue that might keep humanity isolated among the stars. Looking through the quarantine field at the assembled alien diplomats, Elena realized their greatest challenge wouldn't be proving humanity's technological advancement or cultural readiness. Instead, they would have to convince a galaxy of water-fearing species that Earth's greatest toxin was also its greatest gift. The quarantine decision. The Galactic Council's emergency session stretched into its third rotation cycle. Through the quantum-shielded observation window of her containment chamber, Elena watched various species debate Earth's fate with mounting concern. The chamber itself was a testament to their fear, triple-sealed and surrounded by emergency neutralization fields designed to contain chemical weapons. "The data is conclusive," announced Chief Scientist Kurlax, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns that indicated severe stress. The human homeworld surface is over 70% covered in unbound dihydrogen monoxide. Their atmosphere actively cycles the substance, releasing it randomly as precipitation. Holographic images of Earth's oceans filled the council chamber. Several plasma-based delegates immediately engaged personal shields, their forms contracting away from the projections. More disturbing, Kurlax continued, their civilization has built vast networks to pipe this substance directly into their dwellings. They have constructed massive containment structures they call swimming pools for recreational exposure. Their young are actually taught to immerse themselves in it. "Madness," whispered a silicon-based counselor, their crystalline surface vibrating with horror. No sane species would willingly expose their offspring to such danger. Elena activated her chamber's communication system. "If I may speak." The universal translator carried her voice clearly through the containment field. "What you see as a deadly substance is the cornerstone of life on Earth. Not just human life, but all life. Our entire ecosystem evolved using water as its foundation." "Impossible," declared Counselor Vexnar, their quantum probability field fluctuating wildly. "No complex life could develop under such conditions. The risk of molecular dissolution would be too great." A new figure materialized in the chamber, Dr. Zinra, the xenobiologist who had been studying Earth's transmissions. Their multifaceted eyes reflected cascading data streams as they spoke. "The human speaks truth. Our analysis confirms that every organism on their planet has evolved to use this substance as a base solvent rather than the standard mercury-silicon compounds we consider normal." The council chamber erupted in overlapping translations of disbelief and fascination. Helena noticed a subtle shift in the atmosphere, the initial fear giving way to reluctant scientific curiosity. "Consider the implications," Dr. Zinra continued. "These humans have not merely adapted to survive exposure to the universe's most potent natural solvent. They have built their entire biology around it. Their cellular structures, their respiratory systems, even their waste elimination processes all depend on precisely controlled applications of dihydrogen monoxide. That explains the containment suits their scientists wear in laboratories," mused a quantum state being. "They're not protecting themselves from chemicals. They're protecting the experiments from their own biology." Elena seized this moment of understanding. "Exactly. And we've developed countless technologies to work with water safely. Surely we could adapt these solutions to allow safe interaction between our species." "Perhaps," Arch-Counselor Rembox acknowledged, their probability field suggesting deep consideration. "But consider the risks. A single breach in a human's containment suit, a moment of carelessness, even their respiratory emissions could prove fatal to many council species." "I move to quarantine the Sol system," declared Counselor Vexnar. Until we fully understand the implications of this hostile biochemistry, we cannot risk contamination of established trade routes. Wait. Elena stood, pressing closer to the containment field. Earth is on the verge of developing independent FTL travel. You can't just cut us off from the galaxy. That, Remvox stated, their field patterns solidifying, is precisely why we must act now. Ambassador Martinez, surely you understand. A species that has weaponized the universe's most dangerous substance within their own biology cannot be allowed unrestricted access to interstellar space. As the vote was called, Alina watched her species' dreams of joining the galactic community dissolve as thoroughly as their biology could dissolve a silicon-based life form. Yet something in Dr. Zinra's fascinated analysis gave her hope. Perhaps humanity's greatest obstacle to galactic acceptance, their water-based biology, could also prove to be their greatest advantage. Through the quantum-shielded window, she noticed several scientific delegates huddled around Dr. Zinra's data displays, their horror now mixed with unmistakable curiosity. After all, any species that could evolve to thrive in conditions others found lethal must have other surprising capabilities. The question was whether humanity would get the chance to prove it before the quarantine became permanent. Operation Watershed. The emergency alert blared through the quarantine chamber where Alina had spent the last 3 months serving as humanity's sole representative to the Galactic Council. A holographic display materialized, showing a crystalline ship tumbling through Earth's atmosphere, its navigation systems critically damaged. No, Alina whispered, watching the vessel's trajectory. It was heading straight for the Pacific Ocean. Emergency Council session activated, announced the Station I. Critical situation developing on planet Sol 3. The quantum-shielded observation window shifted to show the gathered council members. Many of their environmental suits had engaged maximum protection modes, their horror palpable even through the universal translators. The crystalline collective transport vessel, Harmonic Resonance, has suffered a catastrophic systems failure, reported Emergency Coordinators Xbox, their plasma form pulsing with distress. Impact with the human world's liquid surface is imminent. 2,000 colonists are aboard. We must write them off, declared Councillor Vexnar. No rescue ships could reach them in time, and contact with that much unbound dihydrogen monoxide would. Let us help, Alina interrupted. Humans have been conducting ocean rescues for centuries. We have the technology and experience to save those people. Impossible. Several counselors responded simultaneously. Your biology alone would destroy them. Not if we do this right, Elena insisted. She activated her comm link to Earth. This is Ambassador Martinez. We have an emergency situation. I need to speak with Admiral Chen of the Pacific Rescue Fleet. Now, what followed was the most unusual rescue operation in human history. Under Elena's coordination, Earth's maritime rescue forces mobilized with unprecedented speed. Special containment vessels were rapidly manufactured using Council-provided specifications for crystal-safe environments. The Harmonic Resonance struck the Pacific Ocean at 3:47 UTC. Its outer hull began dissolving immediately upon contact with the water, but the humans were ready. Through the Council chamber's displays, Alina watched with pride as specialized rescue ships surrounded the impact zone. Teams of divers in modified suits designed by Earth engineers worked with robotic aids to extract crystalline survivors into safe containment pods before the ocean could reach them. Remarkable, breathed Dr. Zinra, monitoring the operation. They're using their knowledge of the very substance we fear to prevent its harmful effects. Those dive suits, they've adapted their water protection technology to protect others from water itself. Hour after hour, the rescue continued. Human teams worked tirelessly, their experience with ocean disasters proving invaluable. They understood currents, pressure dynamics, and most importantly, how to keep water out of places it wasn't wanted. Rescue operations complete. Admiral Chen's voice reported finally. 1,987 survivors secured. Remaining 13 were lost in initial impact. All survivors are stable in containment facilities. Elena turned to face the council. This is who we are. Yes, our biology is based on what you consider a deadly substance, but that gives us unique capabilities. No other species in the galaxy could have conducted this rescue. No other species would have known how. She gestured to the displays, showing the rescue ships returning to port, their precious crystalline cargo safely secured. We don't want to be a threat to the galaxy. We want to be its protectors. Who better to guard against the dangers of water than those who understand it best? Arch-Counselor Rembox's probability field shifted through complex patterns before stabilizing. You have given us much to consider, Ambassador. Perhaps we have been too quick to see only the danger in your unique biology. The rescued colonists are requesting contact, announced the station eye. The main display shifted to show a crystalline elder, their surface still showing stress patterns from the ordeal. We feared humans because they carry within themselves the substance that could destroy us, the elder's translator conveyed. Yet today they use that same knowledge to save our people, my family lives, because these toxic beings chose to help rather than harm. Elena felt tears of relief forming, but quickly blinked them back. Crying in front of the council had already caused 3 containment alerts in her first week. This is what humanity offers the galaxy, not just our technology or our cultures, but our unique perspective. Our ability to turn what you see as a universal solvent into a universal solution. As the council chamber erupted in discussion, Elena noticed Dr. Zinray approaching her containment field, their eyes bright with excitement. Ambassador, I believe it's time we discussed how to properly adapt human technology for galactic use. The implications for rescue operations alone. Looking at the grateful faces of the rescued crystalline colonists, Elena finally felt hope return. Sometimes the very thing that made you different, that made others fear you, could turn out to be your greatest gift to the universe. The adaptation protocol. The research facility on Luna Station hummed with activity. 6 months after the Pacific rescue operation, it had become the galaxy's premier center for water-safe technology development. Elena watched through a triple-sealed observation window as human and alien scientists worked side by side, separated by carefully designed containment systems. Remarkable, Dr. Zinn recommended, their multifaceted eyes analyzing the latest test results. Your species' understanding of molecular barriers has accelerated our protective technology by decades. We were so focused on blocking water that we never considered learning how to channel it. The main laboratory featured an impressive demonstration. A crystalline volunteer was handling water samples using a new type of containment suit, based on human diving technology, but enhanced with alien materials science. It allowed water-sensitive species to safely manipulate the substance they had long considered their greatest threat. Project Phoenix showing excellent results, reported Dr. Sarah Chen, the human lead scientist. Her own containment suit, designed to protect alien equipment from her water-based biology, gleamed under the lab lights. The hydrophobic field generators are maintaining stability at 99.99% efficiency. Elena smiled, remembering the journey to this point. After the rescue of the harmonic resonance, the Galactic Council had been forced to reconsider their stance on human isolation. It turned out that a species who had evolved alongside water had developed countless technologies for controlling it. Technologies that could be adapted to protect water-sensitive species. Ambassador Martinez called one of the crystalline scientists, their surface gleaming with excitement. Would you observe our latest test? Through the barrier, Elena watched as the scientist deliberately poured a small amount of water onto their new protective suit. Instead of dissolving their crystalline structure, the liquid simply beaded and rolled off, controlled by the suit's integrated field technology. We're calling it the Humanity Protocol, Dr. Zinra explained. Using your species' understanding of hydrophobic surfaces, combined with our quantum field technology, we've created something entirely new. A true bridge between our biologies. The implications went far beyond safety suits. Already, the research team had developed new ship hulls that could safely navigate water-rich environments, environmental systems that could accommodate both water-based and water-sensitive species, and medical technology that could treat injuries caused by accidental water exposure. The Council's Science Division is particularly interested in your submarine technology, Dr. Zinra continued. The idea of deliberately engineering vessels to travel through liquid water. It opens up exploration possibilities on countless worlds we previously considered too hostile for research. Elena nodded, remembering how the technology transfer had begun. Sometimes the best solutions come from those who had to solve the problem first. Humans have been dealing with water's destructive and constructive properties since we first built boats. A commotion at the testing chamber drew their attention. One of the new protective suits had developed a minor leak, something that would have caused panic months ago. Instead, the crystalline scientist calmly activated their emergency shield while the human technicians quickly contained the water exposure. The incident was resolved in seconds, with no injuries. That's the real breakthrough, Dr. Chen commented. Not just the technology, but the protocols. Teaching water-sensitive species how to respond to exposure without panic. Humans have been handling hazardous materials safely for centuries. It's all about respect, not fear. The facility's success had led to other collaborative projects. Ships were being retrofitted with human-designed safety systems. Space stations were being modified to safely accommodate both water-based and water-sensitive life forms. There was even talk of establishing protected zones on Earth where properly equipped alien scientists could study the planet's unique water-based ecosystem. The Council votes tomorrow on the proposed integration protocols, Elena reminded Dr. Zinra. Do you think they'll approve? The xenobiologist's eyes flickered with what Elena had learned to recognize as amusement. After seeing these results, they'd be fools not to. Besides, the Crystalline Collective has been particularly vocal about supporting human integration since the rescue operation. Having multiple surviving witnesses speaking in your favor tends to influence policy. As Elena prepared to leave the facility, she passed the memorial wall. A display showing images from the Pacific rescue operation. The sight of human divers working alongside alien technology to save crystalline lives had become a powerful symbol of cooperation. What had started as a story of fear and isolation had transformed into one of innovation and partnership. The universe might consider water the deadliest substance known, but humanity had turned that very danger into an opportunity for connection. Their greatest liability had become their greatest strength, proving that sometimes the most powerful solutions come from those who others fear most. Universal solutions. 1 year after the implementation of the Humanity Protocol, Elena found herself standing before the full Galactic Council again. This time, there was no containment field between them. Instead, she wore one of the new integration suits, a testament to how far things had come. The crisis on Crystallis Prime continues to worsen, reported Emergency Coordinator Xfox. The planet's core is becoming increasingly unstable, threatening the primary matrix that sustains the crystalline civilization there. Traditional cooling methods have failed. The holographic display showed a crystal world fracturing from within, its core overheating due to an unexpected radioactive decay chain reaction. Billions of crystalline beings faced extinction if their ancestral world shattered. The problem, Dr. Zinra explained, is that any coolant capable of preventing the core's collapse would also dissolve the crystalline structures we're trying to save. We need something impossible, a way to cool the core without exposing the planet's crystal matrix to destructive solvents. Elena stepped forward, her integration suit gleaming. Perhaps not impossible, just difficult. She gestured to the human scientific team waiting to present. We've been cooling reactive materials without contaminating them for centuries. It's time to scale up. What followed was the most ambitious engineering project in galactic history. Using modified versions of human cooling tower technology, combined with the protective field systems developed during the adaptation protocol, Earth's engineers proposed something unprecedented. a planetary-scale cooling system that would use water's unique thermal properties while keeping it completely isolated from the crystal structures. You want to pump water through the core of our ancestral world. The crystalline elder's surface rippled with alarm. The very substance that could destroy us. No, Elena corrected. We want to use water's thermal properties within completely contained systems. Think of it like the integration suits, but on a planetary scale. Water is the most efficient coolant we know of. And now we know how to handle it safely. The project took 6 months of round-the-clock work. Massive containment vessels were constructed using human submarine technology adapted to space. Teams of human engineers, protected by their integration suits, worked alongside crystalline technicians to install the cooling systems. Every component was triple-sealed, every system redundant. Elena stood in the control center on Crystallis Prime's largest moon, watching the final activation sequence. If this failed, if even one seal broke, the damage would be catastrophic. But humanity had spent its entire existence learning to control water, to harness its power while respecting its dangers. Cooling system activated, announced the control team. Core temperature dropping. Crystal matrix stabilizing. Through the observation windows, Elena watched as the crystal world's angry red glow began to fade, replaced by its natural blue luminescence. The integration of human water management technology with alien containment fields had worked. A civilization had been saved by the very substance they had once feared most. The Council has reached a decision, Arch-Councillor Rembox announced weeks later. Their probability field rippled with what Elena now recognized as pleasure. The quarantine of Earth is officially lifted. Furthermore, we are establishing the Human Water Management Authority as a permanent division of the Galactic Council. Elena felt tears of joy threatening, and for the first time, didn't have to hold them back. Her integration suit automatically processed the moisture, demonstrating yet again how humanity's challenges could become solutions. Your species has shown us something remarkable, Rembox continued. You took what we saw as the universe's deadliest substance and built an entire civilization around managing it safely. Now that expertise has saved one of our oldest worlds. Perhaps it is time we stopped fearing what makes us different and instead learn to value those differences. As Elena prepared to return to Earth, now officially the Galactic Council's Center for Water Management Technology, she reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had feared their biological differences would keep them isolated among the stars. Instead, those very differences had made them essential to the galactic community. The universe still considered water the deadliest substance known, but now they understood that sometimes the most powerful solutions come from those who have learned to live with danger, who have turned their greatest challenge into their greatest strength. Humanity had found its place among the stars not despite their water-based biology, but because of it. After all, in a universe that feared water, who better to handle it than those who had made it part of themselves?